Welcome, Voidwalkers, Traveler. You've reached the edge of reality. Beyond this point lies unknown, mystery, and truth. The gravitational pull is irreversible. This is
Hey, how y'all doing? How's it going? Oh man, this is kind of awkward. I know y'all haven't seen an upload from us in the past 6 to 7 months. Shut up. Shut the hell up. Shut up. I can see some of y'all doing that, Jester. Please don't. But yeah, I know it's been a minute since any of us dropped a video here. I'll say this, at least for me, my apologies. I'm pretty sure it wasn't in our intentions to just up and leave like that. It really wasn't our fault. You know, life got busy for us. You know, we had to manage, things get busy. We may have jobs, we may have to take care of families, stuff like that, etc. Plus, there are other reasons we had to step off for a bit. At least I have my reasons to step off, and I'm gonna explain that in this video. But anyways, let me go ahead and do the intro for a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you reaching to the unknown regions to see this. My name is RaitoSenshi, and this is the Void Podcast. Now, some of you may have realized that it's just me doing the video for the day, and no, nobody has left. It is not just me on this channel, all right? Trust me, I'm gonna explain all that in a little bit. But anyways, if you're new here, just gonna give you a gist of what we do here. We plan to make this a podcast with a diverse series of topics. We also plan not to be like any other podcast. And some of the things that we have already covered makes us different from any other podcast out there. No disrespect to anyone, just saying, we just trying to be different. Some topics could be for comedy, just to put a smile on your face, just to make you laugh. But some topics could be a bit more serious, while others could be scary as shit, and at some point could probably keep you up at night. I'm sorry. It's never our intentions to do that. Yeah, it's not really our intentions to scare you, even though at times these conversations can get scary. These things may be for entertainment purposes, or however you want to call it. But at the same time, it's either something to think about, or we just simply want to get the message out there. You feel me? But yeah, that's pretty much the short version of what we do here, what this channel is about. But if you want to know more about the channel and the podcast, you can check out the very first episode that we did. It's called Something Feels Off. You can click on the link in the description. On the top right corner, you can click on it there. Now that we got that out of the way, let's really get into the meat and potatoes, homie. Now, as I said earlier, it's just only me doing today's video, and there's a reason for that. You know what I'm saying? Again, the other guys didn't leave. All right, they're still here. We're actually trying out another format for the channel, and if you think about it, this could be the prototype, or this basically how it works. Basically, while we have the bigger episodes and bigger projects like Something Feels Off or The Forbidden Doors, that's where multiple people will make an appearance in the video, right? And then there will also be spin-offs where a single guy is doing his own video or his own voice session, standalone, if you will, and it wouldn't be so time-consuming or stressful or inconvenient for the person in charge of editing or uploading the video, depending on what type of video it's going to be. Because at first it would be just 2 people in charge of editing and uploading videos, and I'm one of them, and it kind of got overwhelming for me, and I was worrying about way too many things at the same time. But that's on me though, and I'm a very busy person, and sometimes I wouldn't have the time to edit. I mean, I'm more free now back then, but that's pretty much why you're seeing this quote-unquote standalone episode. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad name. We could call it that. Standalone episodes kind of have a nice ring to it. Another reason why I had to step off for a bit is, and before I even say that reason, I'm gonna go ahead and change the tone and feeling real quick. And to do that, I'm gonna change the background music real quick. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. Because we're about to get into some more serious shit. Like, it's about to get a bit more serious. Yeah, another big reason why I had to step off for a bit is because I wasn't getting overwhelmed by just the content schedule, homie. Everything that has happened in the world and the things that have happened most recently this shit was too much for me to keep up, you feel me? And usually I wouldn't give two fucks about what's going on in the world because I know it's all just a distraction, or at least I like to believe that I know it's just a distraction. And I don't think a lot of people are seeing what I have been seeing. Brother man, have you noticed how quickly things have escalated over the past, like, the span of a year and some change? And it wasn't even that crazy 2 years ago. I promise you it wasn't. I mean, yeah, it was still some crazy crap going on at the time, but it wasn't as crazy as this, you feel me? Like, shit is getting hard to buy in stores. Niggas are even more redundant. The hate has multiplied by 50. Racism has multiplied by 500. Fucking has multiplied. Hate speech, entitlement, retards, narcissism. My nigga is crazy. And I ain't even mentioned about the political shit yet. That's the crazy part. With all that going on in the world, mixed with shit I had to deal with in my own environment, things I had to deal with personally, it overstimulated my shit and I had to back up. All that shit was coming in like a maxed out tornado with a fucking tsunami AOE buff. That's the best way I can explain it. And I didn't even mention about the spiritual aspect because I refuse to not believe that there wasn't, and there still is. I still feel like it's happening, that there's some spiritual warfare happening behind closed doors. I felt it. I still feel it. I know some of y'all feel it too. And a few days ago, I had this random but not so random feeling that literally something feels off. Like something feels immensely weird about the atmosphere. And lo and behold, I came across a TikTok post that day that was talking about how people got this app or program that can look at heat signatures or frequency levels of a certain area. And it said that the frequency was abnormal. In other words, niggas were acting out of character, and you might see some unusual shit happening in your vicinity. Niggas from the past might try slithering back in your life. People might try to get a reaction out of you or manipulate you and shit like that. That's the best way I can explain it. Go look it up. I'm so dead ass with this shit, homie. Then this might sound crazy, but it's legit. I dead ass felt a fucking disturbance in the force. I'm not making this up, homie. And I would like to say that's kind of normal for someone like me. And if you're someone that knows a thing or two about spiritual discernment, then you may have an idea of what I'm talking about here. But this time it was kind of different. Like, I felt that shift in the atmosphere, and it kind of threw me off guard. So on that note, if you have been noticing some rather interesting things or events occurring in your environment or vicinity, then you might want to come back to this video so you can at the very least have an idea of what could be happening. And you don't have to believe all of it. You don't have to believe a single word of it, because I'm also trying to explain this to the best of my knowledge or what I know and have learned. But anyways, yeah, I was dealing with all that, and I was getting moderately overwhelmed, and I had to take a break. But you know what I'm saying, here we are back in the void, operating again. But moving on to the next thing. By the time you seeing this, we're probably already past Juneteenth, and we're at the end of the month, heading into July now. And even though this is pretty late, I would still like to talk about this nevertheless, because for one, I would like to give y'all some credit, because for about 2 years now, well, that racism is always going to be a thing. But this specific thing for about 2 years now, it's been a lot of crazy stuff regarding racism and our brothers and sisters. I noticed when it comes to that, it's been a lot of mistreatment, and believe it or not, it's been a lot of rage baiting towards us blacks. But what I have noticed also, that is that you guys are not letting it distract you, and you guys are not letting it get to your attention. It seems like you refuse to give it a reaction, and in that aspect, it can be controversial, because others may think, oh, they don't care, you know, they don't care what's happening, and they don't give a fuck. Where in reality, that's actually a plus, and I commend y'all for that. Good job, good shit. Because what people don't understand, and what people might haven't noticed, is that this may be pure rage bait, and I'm gonna get to that in a moment. Just bear with me while I try to find the words to explain this. See, what I have noticed about these people, and I'm not gonna say any names, you know who you are, but these people are trying way too hard to piss off the black community with what they're doing. The racism in the streets, the law enforcement, the courtroom, hell, even random people on the internet got something to say about black people. For what reason, I don't know if I could figure it out. But I do have a little conspiracy, and you could label it as that if you want to. But first off, again, why the F are they trying so hard? I know we have to deal with this kind of thing on a day-to-day basis regardless, but it's like the shit that comes out of their mouths and what they do genuinely does not make any sense to me, so much so that it cringes me the hell out. I'm not even gonna hold you. Now, this is the little conspiracy that I have gathered, you feel me? So let's make a little example, scenario, if you will. Now, You know how people tend to do or say things not only to get the reaction that they want out of you, right? But they can also use that same reaction as leverage. It's kind of how the fall of the Jedi went about, right? Palpatine created this ploy to trick the Jedi into attacking him. And even though they had every reason to, I mean, he was a Sith Lord that was manipulating the Clone Wars. And Anakin just informed the Council that he was trying to tempt them into turning into the dark side. So they went to confront him about it. And rightfully so. But because of that, it was the exact reaction that Darth Sidious was looking for. And because of that aspect, he already won. He used it as leverage. He used that reaction as leverage to further help labeling the Jedi as traitors. The bad guys now, because they attacked the senator or a politician, if you will, for better understanding. Now, instead of the Jedi being looked at as bad guys, they're looked at as straight up villains now. Even though there was clear signs, there was clear evidence that Palpatine was a Sith Lord, pretty much a piece of shit. Then what happens next? Order 66 happens. Every Jedi gets deleted. Every Jedi gets tracked down. Y'all know what I mean by deleted. And then later, more messed up events occurred after. Now you got the example. If you don't know where I'm going with this, basically, I don't think this random increase in racism and bigotry didn't start happening just because. If there's even a possibility that this will be the case, the shit that's going on with racism and police brutality and of blacks, mistreatment of blacks, etc., it's a fucking ploy to get a reaction out of black people, not just because of the reaction alone, but they want to use it as leverage and a reason to double down on the bullshit that they've been trying to pull off for the past few years. And they want to switch the narrative so they can continue the mistreatment of blacks, only this time it will be much, much worse. And the only difference is no one's gonna bat an eye, because the reaction that they want so bad is the reaction they want to use as leverage to create the deception, just like the Revenge of the Sith. See, this is what I've been thinking about for a while now, and again, I know this is pretty much a conspiracy, but it's still something to think about. And you could argue that I could be reaching, but with many things that have been revealed from behind closed doors, I won't name some of them, but it could very much be a possibility. Because here's the thing: if you look back at 2020, right, well, all those mass riots, after everything that occurred at that same time period, what if they are trying to create the similar situation? Because let's be honest, we know it and they know it too. We could do just that. And trust, I understand we have every reason to, with what we blacks had to experience for centuries and possibly a millennium. What if they want to manipulate that, right? What if, because that they know that we could crash out for everything that has been done towards us blacks, they will make the reasons for us crashing the fuck out even more, just so the one time that we do is the exact thing that they wanted. Then they manipulate the public into believing, hey, they did this to us, this is wrong, trying to unknowingly convince the public to ignore the horror of the past and believe that they're just straight up like that and we need to do something about it. You know, we don't have to just apply this to racism. You know, there are many examples of this case, whether that may be just shitty people in general, friends, relationships, coming across a random person on the street that just so happens to be an asshole that day, because why not? So whatever the case may be, I would like to encourage you guys to, as much as possible, avoid these kinds of things, especially us black people, because I don't think a lot of people talk about this, but racist people do this all the time, man. The only difference is that this time around it's on a much higher form of rage bait. Like, we gotta call this racist bait or something. But yeah, gang, that's just my conspiracy. I mean, it still could be true, but yeah, essentially it's a theory. And again, I know we're probably in the month of July already, but I just wanted to touch base on that for Juneteenth. I mean, to be honest with you, I could give you more of my additional takes and opinions on racism and that history, but that's a story for another time. That's where at the end of the video, actually, I know it's a pretty short video, my apologies. I really didn't intend for this video to be longer. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, ladies and gentlemen, even just for a moment. You know, every second counts. If you're new here and you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe, as we got plans coming for more content. Please don't give up, be positive, be humble, have faith, love God, and we hope to see you soon. Peace.
Traveler, as you're preparing your leave, please understand that what you've discovered here, please take what you've learned and apply it to life. When the light calls you back, I'll be waiting. Same place, different mystery, same truth. Farewell, Void Walker. Until we meet again.